Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Holly.
Back there is Tucker. And we are doing something just a little bit different today because the temperature on the driver information screen over there says 98 degrees. It's the beginning of June. It's stinking hot. So we are doing this review of the 2022 Kia Sorento Hybrid from the luxury and comfort of the inside of the vehicle. Stay tuned to see what the whole family thinks of this three-row crossover. All right, Gearheads. So, putting the car seat in the second row of the 2022 Kia Sorento is pretty easy. Not the best or easiest, but fairly easy nonetheless. With these light colored seats, it is very easy to locate and find the lower anchor points for latching the car seat in place down low, and then very easy to tighten in place as well. With the very easy forward slide feature, you can get to this rear anchor very easily as well and tighten it up. There's not a lot of give to the back of the seat here. It's actually very hard plastic. So some competitors like the Mazda CX-9 definitely lose out here because this really helps keep the integrity of the seat. But very quick and easy installation here. The only downside is to access the rear using the button right here, because it actually folds the seat back forward. When you push the button with the car seat in place, nothing actually happens. So now the only way to get into the rear from this side is a very narrow gap right here. Some downsides, but otherwise a very comfortable option and very easy to install car seat. All right, Holly, setting off in the 2022 Kia Sorento Hybrid. This is the EX model, which is not the highest trim. You and I got to go camping in an SX Prestige. Feels like forever ago. But you've put some miles on this one, again, without me, so as not to be swayed, which you've made it abundantly clear. You cannot be swayed by me, right?
I cannot be swayed.
Right. So I'm very curious. You have not told me yet your opinions of this vehicle. What are your opinions?
Was the one we drove before a hybrid?
It was not a hybrid. It was a Turbo 4.
So I have said this before, and I will say this again. Kia continues to surprise me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really like this car. I really think that, I could see us driving this for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
I will say, because I didn't ask you a lot of questions about this car.
I'm learning from you. I'm keeping...
I didn't ask a lot of questions. Of course, I don't ever look up any of the info. Right. I was a little disappointed because the seats look like air-conditioned seats, but they are not.
Yeah.
But I did not know it was a hybrid when I drove it. And you know,
did you figure it out?
Well, okay. So I am not the gearhead that's like, obviously there's the Charge and Eco down there.
Right.
Especially when I get into a new car and I just set off driving. I'm mostly like worried about, you know, the media and where's the speedometer and stuff like that. So I don't notice all of those things that obviously somebody like you would notice right away. But I'm driving it and I'm like, man, this ride is just smooth, and the acceleration is just, it gets up and goes, and it's super smooth. And then I was like, is this a hybrid? I know it's not. I knew it wasn't an EV, but I was like, it drives like a EV almost.
So you didn't notice when turning it on, like nothing happened? Nothing happens when you turn it on.
No, I did notice the beep when you back up, and then that made more sense.
Yep.
But I really like this car. It's very nice. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles for the
No.
I almost said the AV equipment, but what do you call it? The entertainment system, I guess. But I'm the kind of person that I don't need all those bells and whistles. Like, sometimes simplicity is better for me.
Yeah. It's a very mainstream vehicle we've got a 10.25 inch infotainment system here, which doesn't even fill up the whole thing with Apple CarPlay. So you get this adjustable side section here that can be multiple different things. I
like
generally
that.
keep it on the fuel economy, but then that means nothing. But yeah, just a nice setup here. This is also the size of the backup camera, which is not a 360 backup camera in this EX model. So there's that to know. But very easy to use AC controls. You get USB hookups down here, a Qi wireless charger, rotary dial shifter, just very easy, straightforward to use stuff down here.
It does have some of the safety features like the lane assist,
Lane keep, lane centering.
and the speed limit
Right.
on the screen in front of you. And
Which I now see 100 degrees on the temperature out there as well.
I hear, but have not experienced firsthand that it turns red if you're going over the speed limit.
Do I need to keep this camera on that screen right there? Is that what I have to do? Yeah.
No. And one feature that I do like is when the car in front of you starts at a stoplight or whatever, it beeps to let you know.
It says, "Hey,
don't immediately go."
Hey, go.
But it's a very soft.
Right.
It's a gentle nudge,
Well,
which I can appreciate.
We can practice it right here. Of course, it's
No,
not going to do it.
not going to do it now.
It's not going to do it with the cameras going. But yes, I've experienced that as well. I really like it.
I didn't have my foot all the way on the brake, so we'll try that again. I do like that.
I've said it before, the safety and driver assistance tech in Hyundai and Kia products, because they're both the same family, they are great. They're unobtrusive, but they're noticeable. Just like you said, it's soft, but it's not like, go!
Yeah. It's not startling.
Yeah, and even like if you put your blinker on when someone's in your blind spot, it'll beep at you, but it's not like screaming at you. It's not calling you a moron. It's just reminding you, hey, there's somebody over there.
Yeah. Another thing I like about this car is it is a 3-row, but it doesn't feel like a 3-row. It doesn't feel like a big honking car. But then I sat in the back row. I didn't sit at the 3rd row, but I did sit in the back row, and I felt like I had enough space. And
Yes, sir.
Smile at the camera.
All right, we're filming, okay, buddy?
so is he.
Yep.
So that I really like. Driving it around town, I felt like it's really easy, even though it does have 3 rows. I like that, yesterday we put down one side of the 3-row and put a bunch of stuff in it, but we were able to leave the other side up so that people could, if we needed to use it, we could have still used it and carried stuff.
And I actually climbed back there in my solo review here on the channel, and it was not a punishing back seat. The seat cushion was nice and comfortable. My knees were up high, but they were not in my chin. And yes, you can slide the middle row forward and back. And in the furthest back position, my knees are on the back of the seat. But proper negotiation with the person in the middle row, you would be fine back there.
Yeah, I'm sure I would be fine back there. But I like that it doesn't feel like a big, massive car that you're driving around.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is, again, in my solo review, I brought up the odd position that this vehicle now sits in within Kia's lineup, because with this now becoming a 3-row vehicle, it didn't always used to be. When it became a 3-row vehicle, it's now competing against the Telluride within the lineup, But to fill the gap of a large two-row SUV, the Kia Sportage grew and actually has very similar inside dimensions to this vehicle. So it's just in an odd place in the lineup, especially with this having captain's chairs exclusively in that second row. It's a 2+2+2, whereas the Sportage was a 5-seater. So, but now we have turned on the historic brick streets of downtown Tyler, Texas, and the ride on this, you mentioned it, it's very quiet, calm, smooth, composed, no rattles, no creaks in here. Does a great job of just keeping you comfortable as you drive down the road. You can see we're about to go over some really old railroad tracks. Like, very, very impressive. And
how was your wobbly head?
Yeah, Tucker, did you have a wobbly head back there? No wobbly head
back there.
So this is Tucker Wobbly Head approved for sure. And the ride on this is absolutely superb. I could, like you said, absolutely see us shopping this vehicle. If and when we are ready to
look,
replace
if and
it.
when we replace our vehicle, the Kia salespeople just better be ready.
that is saying a lot.
But I was thinking we need a new segment because you wouldn't tell me how much this car is. And we need a new segment of maybe could I guess how much it is? Or how much would I pay for it?
Okay.
Based on driving it and features and everything.
So I will preface this new segment reminding you that Ford loaned us a 2021 Explorer, which is like the king of the three-row segment.
Okay.
Essentially spec'd out as this one is, with the exception of it being a hybrid, because that Ford was not. You can get an Explorer hybrid, but it's like the top trim and it's plug-in hybrid. Ours was also four-wheel drive. This Kia is a front-wheel drive, but you can get all-wheel drive. So all that to say, spec'd out very similarly. Heated seats, synthetic leather, no sunroof, just a very comfortable three-row family vehicle. That one was priced $41,000. So, question, first time Holly is learning the price of this. How much would you pay for this, knowing the Ford that it is going up against costs $41,000 as we had it spec'd?
Okay. Well, that changes things. However, I am not I don't shop around for cars a whole lot, so I'm not a guru, but I was thinking this one would probably be in like the 45 range.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I have the Monroney right here. As this one sits, 2022 Kia Sorento Hybrid EX front-wheel drive, $37,820.
Really? So now I went a little bit higher than the Ford. Well, I didn't know the Ford, but I went a little bit higher than I was thinking because it was a hybrid.
Right.
So that's interesting. Yes, then definitely this is a contender for when the wheels fall off our current vehicles and we are in the market for a new one. 100% this would be a contender.
So what's very interesting about this vehicle, again going back to the Sportage, I tested by myself a 2023 Kia Sportage hybrid, essentially the exact same powertrain as this in a smaller vehicle, and because it's smaller, it actually spec'd up higher. It was an SX Prestige, which is their top trim. So it had all the safety tech, the digital gauges, 360 cameras, heated and ventilated seats for the same price as this. So getting a little bit longer vehicle with that third row, you kind of step down on a few things for the exact same price, exact same powertrain, just a little bit different offerings. I will say, because this is a hybrid, it gets 39 mpg in the city, 35 on the highway for a combined 37 number. Now I'm actually going to zoom in over here on your trip screen, we've put over the 230 miles that it says here. It's just, that's the last time I remembered to reset it, but we're averaging 34 mpg with city, with highway driving in a 3-row family crossover, because this really does have a fuel sipping 1.6 liter 4-cylinder under the hood, and does a really, really good job of moving this big vehicle very economically down the road.
Yeah. I will tell you one thing that gives me joy I never thought would, is when that little line goes to charging.
Yep.
I'm like, yay, look at me. Saving.
One question I have for you, because you always bring it up in vehicles with automatic start-stop, this obviously does shut the engine off. How much have you noticed?
Not at all.
I know.
Not even a little bit.
It is so smooth that
like I said, the first time I drove it, I didn't even know it was a hybrid. And the only reason I did think, is this a hybrid, was because of how fast it accelerates and how easy it accelerates.
227 horsepower, which is less than, again, that Ford that we tested that was a turbocharged 4-cylinder. Just had more power than this, but does a really good job. And as we can see in the gauge cluster right there, it actually says EV when you're in all electric mode. And I've caught myself staring down there to make sure, and trying to see how long I can leave that EV light on as I'm driving, because I want to use as little gas as possible in this. So it has been a fun vehicle just to kind of play with that as well.
Do you want to do the beep?
Do the beep. Up there.
There it was.
Yep.
If you could even hear it on the video, because it's so gentle.
And that's just the car reminding you that the vehicle ahead is going, and maybe you should pay attention and go too.
Yeah, I mean, driving this vehicle, the selling point for me is, you and I have talked about this before, with the automotive industry going the way it's going. I just can't see us buying a new vehicle that's not at least a hybrid.
Right.
And when you've got a vehicle like this that's a hybrid and in the 30s, that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, so this drastically undercuts that Ford Explorer in cost, will drastically undercut the Explorer in everyday ownership costs, because you're not going to be filling it up nearly as much. It has practically the same amount of room and technology on the inside that, yes, it is a no-brainer when comparing it to a non-hybrid. And Kia even one-ups it. So I've joked a few times in this video that we are maxed out as far as we can go with this powertrain in this vehicle in the EX trim. But you can get a plug-in hybrid Sorento in the top SX Prestige, which does give you the digital gauge cluster, the bigger screens, and all the tech that this one, in some people's opinion, may be missing. So if you want more, Kia does offer you more. That is also a more fuel efficient vehicle in the fact that it has a mode where you can drive it in pure electric. So we have not tested that one yet. Anxiously look forward to getting to sample one. But this EX hybrid has really wet our whistle for what is possible in this segment. And yes, when I compared price of this at $37,800 to the Ford Explorer that we tested at $41,000, I was like, well, that's just a no-brainer. I couldn't imagine even entertaining the idea of cross-shopping. So.
And we haven't even talked about how pretty it is
on
the inside and the outside, really, but there's a lot of different textures, which always makes it feel more expensive than
you've got this textured.
That's really cool.
It is plastic, but it looks like metal up here, so it looks nice. You've got two-tone, which I love when vehicles aren't just a sea of black inside. And then I have to ask you about the control or the climate setup up here. I really liked it because it was a departure. It was something different. You get these little directional vents down here that just go left and right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of the whole climate setup in this one?
Well, I mean, I don't have a lot to say about the front, but of course I wish there were some vents in the way back, which there aren't, or some in the...
So there are no ceiling mounted vents back here. They are, unfortunately, only on the backside of the center console.
So it could possibly get pretty hot. In the
So
back.
for Tucker back there, it could get warm, and there are no manual sunshades in this one either. So yes, he's sitting in the sun right now, and his only source of air conditioning is what we've got blowing up here, back there to him, and on the back of the center console. So that's about the only real knock we've got.
Well, I haven't said my knocks yet.
Okay.
Well, first of all, the black.
Yeah.
You know, you can already see our smudges and the dust. But, so that's a thing. But...
Before we get off of... This is a hybrid model, so it's got a very interesting feature. You can turn off all the other air conditioning sections and just get you. But I'm already burning up because 101. It's 101 out here.
It also doesn't have the seats. The
Ventilated seats.
Oh, well, no, not that. I mean, that's...
Yeah,
but
we just have heated seats.
The seat...
Memory.
Yeah, memory. Which, you know, that some of the things, like, it's not a knock, it's just like something to be aware of, features that you don't have. Remember when ventilated seats were super fancy, and now they're like, I mean, not ventilated, the heated seats are super fancy, and
now they're in everything.
In everything. Maybe one day ventilated seats will be like that in everything. But
they should be in Texas.
They should be. And then, of course, you don't have the sunroof. But I think, you know, if you're a family in this economy and you're having to buy a new car, right? Some of those features, you just have to decide, like, do I want to pay thousands more for the memory seats? No, probably not. You know, like, do I want to pay thousands more? Especially when you're talking about a car that's a hybrid like this at a reasonable cost. You're not having to buy as much gas.
Right.
You don't have to get a super small car to save on gas. You can still have your 3 rows if you need them, which is nice.
Yeah, at 34 mpg, granted, my Chevy Cruze Eco driving the same loop would get higher, but I typically, just driving around town, see mid-30s in my very economical small car. So the fact that this 3-row SUV can do it is impressive.
I like it.
Yeah. One last note that I will mention is Tucker has his tablet plugged into the USB port on the back of my seat.
Nice.
So another cool feature in this vehicle.
Oh, my other not.
Okay.
There's not really a place for your phone.
Yeah, so down here, you've got it plugged up USB. So this part right here is actually a Qi wireless charger that is large enough for my 12 Pro Max. And you can see now it is charging.
Oh, that's good.
But the other side is kind of small, and even like if you don't have your phone in there, if you've got it plugged up, because you have to for CarPlay in this one, there's no way to shut this bin. Your cup holders are rectangular. I've just been doing that with it.
Well, and then I had it like this.
Yeah.
And then I had a drink right here, so then I was like,
yeah.
So that's kind of annoying.
There's also very big pockets here on the doors, so that's a good place to store something.
Yes. Nothing I could, that there's
no deal breakers.
No deal breakers here. No deal breakers.
So we haven't even talked about the exterior styling. Obviously, you're on board because you're ready to buy this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't buy red.
Okay.
But I do like the way it looks, and I had a friend riding with me today, and she even said when she got in, oh, it's a 3-row.
Yep.
because it doesn't feel like a monster.
Right.
It doesn't look like a monster.
It hides its overall shape very well.
Yeah.
So, brings us to our final thoughts as we're driving through traffic here in this very economical vehicle. You're sold, right?
I'm sold.
Yep.
I like it.
I am very interested. I want to, Kia, if you're listening, I would very much like to test the plug-in hybrid and to see, one, how much more efficient that is, how different that powertrain is, and if the additional cost outweighs the benefit that you really get in a very well-optioned $37,000 EX in this hybrid.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand. Really cool tech, really comfortable vehicle. I took my parents for a ride in this. They were sold.
They liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if y'all have been following GT Garage Talk for any length of time, you know my dad had a 1997 Kia Sophia, and that is permanently ingrained in his mind as to what Kia is. The Kia, it's not my father's Kia anymore. The company has come a long way, and like you said in the intro, they continue to impress.
Yes.
There you have it, Gearheads. A very well done vehicle from the Kia brand in a 3-row crossover that is so fuel efficient and just very well optioned at a reasonable price here at just over $37,000. If you want to see more from us, including my solo review where I actually climb all the way back into that back seat, be sure and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you are notified every time we drop a new video. I may or may not be driving a Ford F-150 Lightning soon, so stick around for that for sure. You can also see what we're driving before it is here on the channel by finding us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all at GT Garage Talk, or just going to our website, gtgaragetalk.com, where you'll find links to everything, including our award-winning podcast. But for a send-off, why don't you just give us a quick acceleration? We'll see how quickly this thing goes. Not bad for a big family hauler. And with that, Gearheads, bye.
Can you make this go to the how fast you're going?
Mm-hmm.
Be brave, stay wild.
Can you clap for me, teammate? Thank you. Okay, Gear. Oh my goodness.